Let's talk about demands. Are they good? Are they bad? What are they? Um, this actually came up because recently there was something in one of the Facebook groups where I don't actually remember all the details, and unfortunately, before I had a chance to really respond in the end, the author deleted the thing, so I can't go back and look now. But basically, it's she told her husband that she needed him to do certain things.
They were going to therapy.
Yeah, I mean, they had started going to therapy. She was going to give it like 3 sessions.
The therapist told her to
Uh,
expect it to take a while, and she was thinking apparently 3 weeks was long enough
yeah.
for change.
Um, and anyway, she basically was saying that he needs to be doing all of this, and he did good the first week. He did actually pretty good job the first week, and then the second week it was not so great, but he was trying. And then by the third week, he's like, "This is too much. I can't do this." And she's like, "Well, you were able to do it the first week." I'm like, yeah, he could. So what? I was like, every New Year's, some people can go to the gym the first week. How many people are there by week 3 or 4? Well, it's too much. Not that it's should be too much, but it is in that case. And a big part of it is that she wanted to make a whole bunch of changes all at once, and instead of giving it some time and also giving some kind of motivation. But in any case, the word demands was brought up by me because she mentioned basically that he has to do these things or she's going to leave. And so I said, okay, so you were demanding that he do this and this and this, and then I went over the details like we just did with week 1 he did good, week 2 was less than good, and so forth, and explained how that works, and that it's because you're just using the conscious mind to make changes, and that's very difficult because your unconscious is in this old rut, and your conscious mind is trying to pull him out, and your conscious mind is 0.006% of your mind. And if that's what's trying to pull the other 99.994% out of the rut, that's going to be a long process.
Especially if it's a deep rut.
Yes. And she got all caught up on the word demands and got huffy and puffy about that and about how she's not demanding anything and so forth. That he should treat her like a human being and this is just what people should do and so forth. And unfortunately, I had one of my nice long, if you see me in the groups, you know how my responses get.
He writes
They're
novels.
I have my nice little novel here written up, and before I could even send it, she'd already taken the thing down. But basically what I was going to say is, yes, demands. Because demand is the correct word. It wasn't a suggestion. A suggestion would be, I'd prefer if you do this, but if you don't, we're still going to be okay. She was creating demands.
Be like me saying, I'd like it if we get, something from Taco Bell tonight. Well, that's nice, but if we don't get Taco Bell, I'm not going to be throwing a fit.
We're not divorcing over it. No. It's not a demand.
No.
So I was like, yes, demand is the correct term. And obviously it triggered something in her, so I addressed that, and basically was like, okay, I wasn't saying unreasonable demand. I just said demand. And I explained, of course, the difference between a demand and a suggestion or request or whatever. And so I just wanted to make sure to make a video about that yes, demand. It's a good thing when done correctly. And it's a bad thing when done incorrectly. To demand that your husband not sleep around with every woman he can find. That's a good thing. Very good demand. Demand that he not hit you. Very good demand.
Demand that he at least put his dishes in the sink to help out around the house at minimum. Not a bad demand.
Depends on the situation. It's a reasonable thing to expect, I will agree. It's a reasonable thing that he should do. I agree. To make that a make or break issue in the marriage, though, that might be a bit much. And that's more likely to be from a communication problem, to be honest. And in fact, a lot of the things that come up in marriage that degrade the marriage over time, it's a communication problem. And it's not that you're not telling the person. It's that you're not able to say it in a way that they grasp the concept. And it may not even be that they're not trying to. In fact, one thing that we were reading recently, that guy wrote a book, and the basic premise of it was that he would leave his dishes by the sink, specifically, usually like a cup or something that he might go back to use again. Very reasonable process in his mind was, I'm not going to put that in the dishwasher because I might want to use it again. But to his wife, this was hugely disrespectful. For whatever reason, she felt that way. And he was being very rational in his approach to how he was telling her that, look, I'm not going to change, basically. I love you. I'm not going to change because I may use this, and why should I dirty up another one?
Yeah, he's looking at it going, I don't see the problem with it sitting there unless we have somebody coming over. I get that.
Yeah, and there he would. If there was actually company coming over, then he'd put it away because he wanted to look nice. No problem. And I agree, he's 100% correct. There's absolutely no reason whatsoever it would need to be put away if it's something that he's likely to use again. I've seen a meme before of, you have a knife sitting over the sink where it's got the handle on the edge and the blade of the knife sticking out over the sink. This is a universal signal for, I might make another sandwich or I might not. Same concept. So, we all get this to some degree. But the real issue is that she was feeling disrespected rather than just looking at it logically. And he was only looking at it logically and not really understanding that she was feeling disrespected. Even if she said that, it wasn't getting through to him. And that's really one of the biggest things in communication is the communication is the results you get. Ultimately, that's actually an NLP presupposition, is communication is the results you get. So whatever result you get, that's what you communicated. So if you're not getting the result you want, it's because you didn't communicate the right way to that person. And so you may have to use completely different language. Which in some part of that, there are, the 5 love languages. There's a book out about that. That we don't really go into that a whole lot.
It's very popular. I see it a lot in the various Facebook groups, but we don't usually go into that.
And it's not that there's anything that's wrong with it. It's just not something we use. We prefer to be much more individualized because there's so many more variables than just these 5 broad categories. And we deal with the individual. So ultimately, it's really going to be a matter of learning how they understand you in order to communicate with them, especially if you're the one who's feeling disrespected or let down or whatever you want to call it. Then in your case, you really have to look for, how can I communicate this to them in a way that they could understand? Because it may have nothing to do with the dishes. In fact, usually it doesn't have anything to do with the dishes. It has to do with, like I said, the respect. And there's other ways that he would have been able to show her that love and that respect, while she would then allow for, okay, well, he might reuse this, so it's okay that he leaves it. It's not disrespectful to me. It's just reasonable and rational, and that's okay. He's doing all these other things that prove that he respects me, and so forth. And of course, guys, if you're having the same argument with your wife, and this can go either direction. I'm just using this because in this case it was the guy. Okay, if you're having the same argument with your wife or girlfriend over and over and over and over again, okay, here's the thing. I know you don't think it's logical or rational, but it has nothing to do with the thing she's complaining about. Nothing. It's not about the dishes. So your job as the head of the house is to set aside your standard way of thinking and to love her, to support her, and to really get down to the underlying issue. And ask, what else is there that I can do to show you the respect, or whatever term she uses? Use her words. Whatever word she uses, use that word. Because that's the one that's going to speak to her unconscious. whatever she says, say, okay, how can I show you respect in other ways? How can I make sure that you know you're loved or you're respected or this, that, or the other? Whatever words she's using, use those same words back to her. And actually, one way that we've heard that before is in sales. Okay, if you're on a car lot, you're selling a car, and a guy comes in and says he wants a fast car. You don't sell him a quick car. You don't sell him a car that goes from 0 to 60 in however many seconds. You don't sell him, the greatest car you've got. You sell him a fast car, and you have to do the hand motion if he does the hand motion, because that's his language, and that's how you sell him a car.
That's the important word to him right there.
Exactly. He doesn't care about safety rating and how many seats. Is it fast? And it's the same thing with couples. If she's talking about respect and you're talking about logic and I love you and this and that, and the other, it doesn't matter. You're not talking about respect, and that's the thing that she needs. Well, that's all for this video.
If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel and leave us a comment or a question below.
It really does help to let YouTube know that others should also be watching these videos. Also remember to check out our Facebook group. It's all about relationships of any kind. And of course, most importantly, click below and schedule that free consultation. We have options for people at every level. Whatever your problem is, if we don't have a YouTube video for it, we can get you some other kind of resource, even if there's no money in the bank. So even if you can't actually do a personal one-to-one with us, there's options. Definitely click that link, schedule that call. And that's all we got for now. Y'all have a great day.
Bye.